Hey y'all, it's Walter with Outdoor Addicts Television. Today we're down here in our bottom field on the North Alabama farm. We were talking about frost seeding clover. I looked up a lot of videos, tried to get in touch with a lot of information, looked up videos, found some stuff, but it was really technical, and what I was wanting to do is really just find out a lot about frost seeding clover. I've been seeing a lot about clover the past couple years, and we've been trying to give it a shot for the last, I'd say, 2 years. It looks like we're finally getting a good stand, and kind of working towards the goals that we want to have. This field, as you can see, looks pretty good. It's a mixture of multiple varieties of different plants. It's for the deer. It started out, this was all trees, um, and I'll show some clips of some of the burn piles and stuff that we still have out here right now. But as you can see, this field was burn piles and timber, and it had been logged, and then we had the field taken up and derooted, and it was just a mess. Um, what happens when you do that is you lose all your topsoil. So we've been out here putting in lots of work, and money and time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears, basically everything but the kitchen sink at these fields, specifically this one, trying to get a good stand of crops back for our deer. Um, and our deer have really been struggling because of that, not necessarily in like a actual struggling, but they've been struggling to get, a good, healthy forage during the winter months here in Alabama. And so that's what this whole plot is about. Um, what we did is we frost seeded clover. And let me go grab the camera and kind of show y'all. We come out here and we frost seeded some clover in the ground. Um, it really worked pretty good. I'm here to tell you that if you're ever wondering about, trying to frost seed a plant, and you really kind of just want to make sure that you don't. You can just see there's just little clovers popping up everywhere now. Now that we finally got some rain, and the clovers are just starting to really come up a little bit everywhere. And so basically, what we've done is we frost seeded the clover a couple months ago, or about a month ago, right when you're supposed to, perfect timing, and we're just coming back through here. I'm here to tell you that if you're wondering about how to do your food plots and if frost seeding is a good idea, I'm here to tell you that it is. It worked wonderful. Last year we planted in the fall, really trying to hope that we'd get a good stand of forage for the deer before the fall. Didn't work out how we wanted. Every time it seems we plant in the fall, it comes up in the spring. Plant in the fall, it comes up in the spring. Plant in the spring, it doesn't work until fall, and then it dies out. It's always some kind of trade-off. It never works as planned. So we did the frost seeding this year. I'm going to show y'all what we did to kind of even the playing field and get a good stand even on the poorest of poor soils here in Alabama. We have, like I said, this used to be timberland. It was logged, it's been plucked, it's been graded, it's been washed. It's red sandy soil, low pH, needs lots of lime, not very good organic matter. It's just the soil samples and stuff were just not very good. But I'm here to tell you that it can be done. And with a couple tips and tricks that I have learned throughout this process of really investing in this particular farm and the food plots, you can see behind me we've got a pretty good stand of organic material with clover and a bunch of other stuff standing here. It's really turned out well. The deer are going to have some great stuff to feed on all throughout the year. This year is what it's looking like. But I'm here to tell you, one of the main things to help me throughout this process was a soil test. The first couple years I didn't do a soil test, and I was thinking, I could just throw some money at it and some hard work and time and blood, sweat, and tears, and it would probably work. I'm here to tell you, boys and girls, that does not work. Um, I had very subpar results with that. I actually went out and did the soil test and sent it off to a lab and got the results back and met with my local co-op here in town and talked with them about what I needed, and I just went ahead and did it right this year. And boys and girls, I'm here to tell you there's a big difference. Okay, so the soil test is number one. It's going to help you out more than you could ever imagine. Second things kind of goes along with the first, but the second thing I'm here to talk about is don't just buy seeds and throw out your seeds, okay? If you don't do the soil test, fine, you need to do it, but if you don't, don't just buy seed and throw it out on the ground and expect it to come up. That's not how that works, okay? You're gonna have to put out some kind of lime and fertilizer with it, most likely. Okay, if you're in sandy soil like me and you don't have a soil test, basically you could just about guarantee you're gonna need some kind of fertilizer and some kind of lime to go out here. Okay, just if you're gonna throw out some seed, at least buy a couple bags of triple 13 and a decent amount of lime. You're gonna need some lime. Most likely, if you're in red, sandy, clay, crappy soil like we are in North Alabama, specifically on this farm, you're going to need some lime, you're going to need some fertilizer, okay? So those two things, along with my soil tests and throwing out quality seed, has really, really blown up and done this field and our other fields, which I'll show you as well, an amazing progress. I mean, it has went from probably 20% to 80% just because of those three things. And you got to use quality products, guys. We use Backwoods Attractions and all their seeds and forestry blends. You got to buy quality products, guys. You don't want to buy a subpar quality product and do all the work and then not get the results because you bought a subpar quality product. It's like buying a really nice rifle and putting a really crappy scope. It doesn't matter how good your rifle is. If you got a crappy scope, it's not going to be worth a dang. Same thing with the food plots, guys. If you put in all this hard work and grind all year and really get the soil right and you do all this stuff and you lime it and fertilizer, but then you buy a crappy seed and you spread it down, it doesn't matter how good you work the ground or how good your fertilizer and lime is. If you got crappy seed, it's just not going to come up. That's just how that works. So anyways, guys, that's what we're talking about here today. I'm going to show you around. We're going to do some more, throw in some more B-roll stuff of all this clover popping up. As I'm standing here, guys, I'm just noticing there's just clover everywhere. There's clover popping up everywhere. Okay, so but before I do that, my third tip and trick to you guys is if you're doing clover like me, keep it mowed. Okay, keep the stuff mowed. But if you plant your stuff in the spring like I did, you're gonna have to come back through and you're gonna have to keep mowing it. You're gonna have to keep it nice and short. Let that clover catch up. Once that clover catches up, guys, it's gonna catch up and it'll kind of smother out a lot of the other things. We're not really farming out here, so we're not looking for necessarily just a unilateral one stand of a single species of plants. Okay, I'm not really all about that. I mean, I think it looks beautiful. I think it's awesome. But deer are browsers, guys. Okay, that they like to pick and choose and be and just kind of meander through things and pick at little different species of grasses and plants and stuff to forage on. So if your whole field's clover, that's great. But deer like to have a variety. So, you know, don't just not get rid of any of your weeds or anything like that. But at the same time, um, keep them at bay, keep it mowed. If you have a little bit of other species, it's not really a big deal as far as the deer thing goes. We're really just kind of trying to provide as much nutrients and stuff as we can for the deer. So we want a big stand of clover because it's high in protein. It's really good forage. It comes back. It's year round, especially in a climate like this. We can keep these clover plots for multiple years, year round. So that's kind of why we're trying to go that direction. But at the same time, We're not going to freak out if we see weeds. You know, if you have a huge stand of weeds, that's one thing. But if we got a little bit of weeds or other grasses or such, we're not going to freak out and try and, you know, get a unilateral, just one species of forage at here. So, you know, that could be a topic all in itself, but that's kind of how we look at it here at Outdoor Addicts Television. That might be right, that might be wrong. I'm not here to say that I'm a professional. I just want to kind of share what we do for our deer, and it's worked, and it's produced some good deer out here, and it's really helped. And this field should be better than any of them so far, and we can't wait. We're already hitting the ground, guys. It's barely spring, and we're already out here working on the property. I'm in a long sleeve, so you can tell it's early spring already. We're really trying to get a jump on this year for the deer season. We've already mowed this. Like I said, we frost seeded the clover, we've fertilized, we've limed, and we just want to bring some tips and tricks. My fourth and final, I'm not going to say final, but my fourth tip to you guys is, especially in North Alabama where I'm at, for a fact, if you're on an elevation, and what I mean by elevation, guys, is a slope, something that if you're going to work the ground, a slope, and something that I mean by, you know, elevation is a slope, something that if you're going to work the ground and it rains, it's going to wash your topsoil, guys. Do not disc your ground. Like I said, I'm not claiming to be a professional, but what I am going to tell you is what I've done and what trial and error and what I've seen work on my properties that we manage and I manage. And if you're on an elevation and you disc and work your ground like we did, you're gonna, and you don't have a good organic stand that you're kind of taking out, you're gonna lose your topsoil. And I'm not saying you got to roll and crimp and do all that, but what I am saying is, if you disc your ground and you're on a hill, you're gonna lose your topsoil, like I did. Okay, and you don't want to do that. That's gonna put you a year or two behind. Okay, the best thing to do is just how we did this field. Is it worked for me? It should work for y'all. We frost seeded and we broadcasted. Okay, broadcasting is the way to go. You could put something on the back of a Ranger or four like we do. Broadcast, lime, and fertilize. We broadcasted everything into this field that you see here. Once you get a stand, whether it's weed, grasses, or whatever, it's going to really kind of hold the seeds in. You can come out here, broadcast the whole seed, mow it down, broadcast, throw your fertilizer and your lime out, then mow the whole field nice and low and let it rain. And guys, that's going to help out a lot, and it's going to come up just fine, especially if you're planting a small seed like clover, like we did. A small seed like clover, guys, they're tiny. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but the clover seeds, man, they're going to get in these root systems of these plants, and they're going to get some good seed to soil contact. You don't have to disc up the ground to plant that kind of stuff. If you plant it at the right time of the year, do a frost seeding or something like that, and really take some time and put some effort into your food plots, it's going to work. Okay, I think one of the most number one failed food plot things that I've seen in my years and my experiences is guys just come out and they throw out some seed and they don't put any time, effort, blood, sweat, or tears or anything into their food plots. They just come out here a couple weeks before season and they throw out some seeds, and then they're all down and out and down in the books because, you know, their food plots never work, and if they do, they're just subpar. And guys, this is kind of like an art piece. Okay, it's kind of like a painting. I mean, you got to work at it. You got to put some time and some effort into it. You're going to have to come out here and mow it. You're going to have to keep it low so the clover catches up. You're going to have to put out your lime and your fertilizer. Guys, we did all this. We put out 2,500 pounds of fertilizer on this couple acre food plot here, and we did it all on the back of a four-wheeler. We did all the fertilizer on the back of a four-wheeler. We did the seeding stuff by hand. Did some with the fuller, mostly by hand because it's clover and it's just really hard to put a smaller seed rate. And when you look up your seed rates and stuff, guys, you'll understand what I'm talking about with the clover. And so we also overseeded, you know. So if this field said 5 pounds, I did 10. I doubled it. I'd rather have more than not enough, okay? Because I did that last year. That's another thing, trial and error. The field said 5, we did 5. Minimal results, not as good as anything we was hoping. We did 10 on this field, and guys, there's just clover coming up everywhere. It looks great. I think we're gonna have a great field this year. But don't get caught up in the fact that you don't have a tractor, because guys, I'm here to tell you, you don't need to have that. The main thing is buy quality product seeds, buy your lime, buy your fertilizer, and maintain your fields. And come out here and check on them and look at them, see what they need, keep them mowed and groomed, and just, really care after all of your plants. Whatever you put into it's what you're going to get out of it. If you come out here, like I said, 2 weeks before season and buy a 50-pound bag of seed for $11 and throw it all over the field, well, that's what you're going to get. If you start on this on the spring and you start manicuring and keeping up and manifesting what you want out of your field and keep that in your head and come out here and put in that time of work, guys, that's what you're going to get out of it. So I'm going to grab the camera and I'm going to show y'all around. This is nothing crazy, but you got to keep in mind what it looked like before. I'll go ahead and pop up some videos on the screen right now to compare to what it was before. And as from those pictures, as y'all can tell of what it was before to what it is now, I mean, just look at that. So, and look at what we're looking at now. I mean, we went from that to just a nice, decent stand of quality forage for the deer. Here we go. We just got clovers coming up all over the place in this grass. And that is what you're looking for, guys. So all these little clovers that you're seeing, none of these were here. All of these have been planted. They were all frost seeded and broadcasted, and now they're mowed. And so we're giving these plants every opportunity and every little handicap that we can give them to succeed. And just look at this field, guys. From what it was, just take a look at this. I mean, it just looks absolutely amazing out here. Quality products and hard work, and this is the kind of stuff that you're going to get. And the clover fields are cool too, guys, because y'all can come back through here and just overseed some little bald areas that you might see. Like, we have a couple for sure that we need to address, and we're going to come back out here and we're going to fill in those spots, because we're trying to really prepare for deer season this year. We didn't have very green fields this year to hunt over, and not really just for a hunting aspect, but from a management aspect. The deer just really suffered because of our lack of effort into the fields last year, and they just, we felt bad for them. They didn't have much to eat on last year, and we decided that this year we're going to change that, and we've really started hitting the ground running already, and the fields are already looking absolutely awesome. And so we're going to hop in the buggy and we're going to take you over to some other fields, and we're going to show y'all some of the other fields that we've done the exact same process on, and we'll see how they're shaping up. Okay guys, as promised, we're on the other side of the property. We're here to show you a couple different scenarios and test plots that we've done. We have 3 different settings. You already seen the first, so we have 3 different other ones, 4 total. I'm going to be showing you the other 3 right now, going kind of over the things that I had mentioned before, and test plots and different scenarios that we've done. Okay, so this area that I'm going to be showing you right now, some B-roll of, this area and this field that we're in right now that I'm showing you, this plot we have done, we disked it and just planted it. No lime fertilizer, anything like that, just regular disking and seeding. As you can see in this, absolutely, totally, horribly wrong mistake. We have huge bare patches of dirt. You can tell a lot of erosion. We lost a lot of the topsoil. It just flew down the hill quicker than you could ever imagine. This is what I was talking to you about, the elevation. And if you're on any kind of elevation or slope, do not disc it. You can see why here. If you disc it, you're going to lose your topsoil. The seeds don't really come up as good. We didn't do any kind of added fertilizer or lime, so the seeds that did take, they did all right. But you know, especially with on a hill, you're going to need some kind of something like that to really help get all your plants up. But overall, you know, bad plant germination, loss of topsoil, etc., etc. In our second test scenario, you can see right here, we also did disking, and then we did we overseeded and broadcasted with that into the disking and drug and stuff as well. We did a half rate coat of fertilizer and lime. As you can see, a lot better scenario. Still not perfect, still got some bald spots, a lot better than the first, but could be a lot better, absolutely, no doubt about it. We haven't mowed this plot or anything either, so that's another different scenario. Neither of these first two that I've explained have any kind of mowing, and you can tell they need to be groomed and taken care of. This is what I was talking about, where you really need the hours and the man hours and the blood, sweat, and tears, and you know, just the real hands-on. You need to groom and take care of your food plots. You're going to be able to tell if you don't. What you put in is what you get out. You can totally see that. And then in this third scenario here, you can see it is just absolutely gorgeous. Now, this food plot, same as the first one. This is the fourth and final food plot here. It's on more of an elevation to the first one. It's the reason I wanted to show y'all this one. This field, we did not disc. We broadcasted into the standing vegetation. We did it in the spring before the weeds started growing. This was a frost seed application here. This was fertilized and limed at a full rate of what the soil test recommended. And then after we got some sprouting and germination and we could see the plants coming up and some of the weeds started filtering up and the other grasses and native grasses and such, we came back out and mowed them, and we did a nice low mow. I think this was on a 3 on my John Deere mower. You can use a tractor as well, a bush hogger finishing mower. Just make sure it's nice and low, not too low, but you also want to get low enough. Y'all know that if you don't get low enough, one rain, it's going to come up a couple inches. It's going to be like you were never even in there. So you want to get it nice and low. Give your clover and other plants that you want to grow that fighting chance to get up, and you can totally see it's working here. Keep it on a mow. Keep it kind of cut down. Let that clover, you'll know when that clover's finally caught up really well. When you come out, you just see the bunches of clover like that, you'll know. But anyways, guys, that's going to finish it up for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Those are just some tips and tricks that we wanted to show you here at Outdoor Addicts, that what we have experienced and learned throughout the last couple of years managing some of these properties that we have. If you learned anything, please like, comment, and subscribe. We got a bunch more videos to come. We're in the middle of our Spring Thunder turkey series right now, so we're doing a bunch of episodes on turkey hunting. Y'all see all that. We're going to do a bunch more stuff on overlanding, camping. We're going to have a bunch of field content, just like this video that you're watching now, showing you tips and tricks and products that we use, of stuff that we recommend. We don't claim to be professionals, guys. We just want to bring what works for us to y'all. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe. We're a growing channel. We could use it all. We appreciate it. Y'all have a blessed day, and we'll catch you next time.